This is not the video it was originally intended to be. It started out to be a tutorial on how to fire a primitive kiln. But when the results of that firing didn't come out as planned, again, things took an unexpected turn. So if you're looking for that tutorial on how to fire a primitive kiln, it's here. But if you're wondering whether or not you should even build such a kiln or go in a different direction, it's here too. So keep watching. So here is what I'm firing today. These are my two drums, a little White Mountain redware jar, a redware bowl, and a redware mug. This little pot here is a bowl that's going to hold organic paint. And then these two, and there's a third one down in there, belong to a student of mine. So I've got these broken sherds covering the whole stack. That'll kind of hold the heat in a little better, I think. And then I will build an ad hoc chimney around the top here, which will also hold a little more heat in and create a little more draft. I'm adding the thermocouples through the hole in the side of the kiln. It is nearly impossible to successfully fire one of these without a thermocouple, because you really have to know where your temperature's at and what target temperature you're going towards. Fire was lit at exactly 7 o'clock p.m. and I kept the fire really low purposely for the first half hour just to carefully preheat the pottery inside. All right, it's 7:45. We just hit 300 degrees Celsius. As you can see here, the flames are licking up higher in the chimney. And the fire is not yet fully stoked. I'm gonna let that heat up nice and slow. We'll start adding some more fuel in a little bit to get it roaring, but I wanna make sure that temperature climbs nice and even and relatively slow. All right, it's 7:50. We just broke 400 degrees Celsius. Inside of there, we got flames licking up. Down here, we could still stick a little more wood in there if we wanted to, but it's getting full. The firebox is getting relatively full of wood. It's 7:55, we just reached 500 degrees. .603 and a little over 600 degrees. Okay, it's 8:10 and we just hit 700 degrees. So here's what I wanted to show you. The temperature won't go much over 700 unless you press that wood back into that area. There's an area underneath the pots that's pretty deep. And if I just leave the wood here in the front, in the firebox, it won't go over about 700, 650. Once I start getting it up that high, and I want to get it higher, I kind of stoke up the front, and then as it gets burning, or as the back starts burning down, and you can tell if you look at your thermocouple, you'll see the temperature start to drop pretty dramatically. So it got close to 800, and then it started backing off. And as soon as it started backing off down to about 750, I pressed more fuel in there, and it'll start coming back up again. You don't want to do it too aggressively, because for one thing, you don't want that wood to start stacking up and pushing up into the pottery. For another, you don't want to have so much combustion in there that you're creating a reduction atmosphere. So a little at a time, just keep feeding it back into there. That's important to get the temperatures up where I want them to be. I'm still about 775. Okay, it is 8:25 and we have broken 800 degrees. We're almost 820 probably. All right, I reached my desired temperature of 850 and the wood's burning down and the temperature is backing off really quick. Just in a matter of a few minutes, it's already down to about 650. So it's dropping fast. I'm gonna go inside, get myself some dinner. By then I'm gonna come out, start tearing that chimney apart and pull the pots out because I want them to oxidize good. And I've had some problems with stuff coming out of that a little bit reduced. So I'm hoping if I pull them out early, they can get exposed to more air and maybe oxidize a little better. It's down below 400 C, so it cooled off real fast. Hi, Chihuahua. Those are hot. All right, there they are, all the pots. We will come out in the morning and see how well we've done and whether or not they oxidize good. That's really the missing ingredient right now. Everything looks good as far as not broken and whatnot. How the colors turned out is what I'm curious about now. Okay, it's first thing the next morning, and I got up and grabbed the pots and brought them in here to my studio. Now I want to talk to you about some of the results here and what they mean. So let's look at this bowl. This was a very pretty bowl going in, had a nice red slip on the outside. Just no place does this red slip look appealing. There's an area right in here where it's a little bit reddish. Most of it is just kind of gray. It's got a strange patina on it, just kind of horrible. Now the white slip came out beautiful, and that glazed paint on the inside is super glazy. So the oxygen level might have to do with the fact that it's not very red, but this kind of gray, ghosty patina, I have no idea, but I get this a lot in that kiln. It's very frustrating because this could be a beautiful bowl, and now it's kind of eh. But I could always refire this, hopefully, and oxidize that again. So that's an option. This jar here, again, the red, it's red. In this area, it's very nice cherry red. But you know, on this side, it's kind of brownish. And the black paint, which is strange because it's just manganese, copper, and clay. I mean, there should be nothing. It should be bulletproof paint. They have a strange, crusty, gray texture about them that I can't quite. And then the white slip has gone all crackly on here. Something fierce, like I'm not used to seeing. And this may be due to too much temperature. I may have gotten it a little hotter than I meant to. Now, my thermocouple only read about maybe 830, 840, but I had this whole stack of pottery, and the thermocouple was way on the outside of that. So what I was reading on the outside may have been way different from what it was in the middle, and this was in the middle of the stack. So I could refire it and get that redder, but that white slip is shot forever. So this is probably going to be a giveaway pot. Now, some things oxidize pretty well. This is my wife's little redware pot, but again, overheated. This whole side is all crackly, like it got way too hot. This wasn't even slipped. This is just a body clay. So this crackling has nothing to do with slip. This is the actual clay breaking down from getting too hot. Again, overheated significantly. I've had this clay up pretty high before, so I think it was well over 900. We may have been well over 1,000 where this was to get it to do this, because this is old Sonoyta red. This is a pretty bulletproof clay, and it started to go all kind of crackly in there. But again, when it comes to slips, specifically redware slips, this kiln consistently makes a mess of things. This is that nice yellow slip I used to make White Mountain redware. Same material on here, so you can see in places this came out really red. This one doesn't have any place that's nicely red. It's reddish, but it's kind of brown and a little dark in places. It has that strange gray kind of ghosty thing going on. And the black paint, which again, just like I said here, it's just black mineral paint. It's kind of bulletproof. But here it's gone all kind of weird and crusty, and it's got like this strange, I don't know, it's a mess. This mug is a disaster. And again, on the inside we have more of that crackling, indicating that it got too hot. The problems with this kiln go back to inconsistent heating, you know, places that are too hot, places that are just right. And the atmosphere just results in some very strange colors, especially for redwares. Look, I live and breathe on redwares. I make redwares. I mean, look behind me, right? I love redwares. The fact that I can't successfully fire redwares in that kiln, I'm kind of done playing with it. I first made my first little primitive kiln in about 2006 based on what the Thornburgs had, and I've been playing with it for quite a few years now, off and on. I've made at least 3 of these that are purposely made like this, but I've done a lot of experimental ones too, where I'm stacking bricks and I'm digging holes in the ground and stuff, and it's always this. Inconsistent heating, you know, really hot in some places, not so hot in others, and the atmosphere has consistently been a mess. So I think I'm gonna give up on it. I'm ready to give up on that little kiln, and I want to do it more like my friend Bill Warner does. So I made a video last summer of Bill Warner's little kiln, which is really just like a brick enclosure that he's doing like a primitive firing inside of. I think it's easier to control the atmosphere and the temperature in a kiln like that. And it's more fuel efficient than a regular outdoor firing, and you can do it in your yard in town. So I think that's where I'm gonna go. So say goodbye to the little brick kiln. I'm gonna tear it down, and I'm ready to start something new over there, because this is not my first failure. Like I said, I'm reaching my temps, but it's not doing what I need it to do, which is consistently produce nice oxidized pottery. If you'd like to learn more about Bill Warner's firing setup, which is what I'm going to put in the kiln's place very soon, I'll put a link to that video I made at Bill's house right over here so you can check that out. Thanks for coming with me today. I'll catch you next time.